I have my party with me. I have Tazarath being played by.
Cerulean. And Tazarath is, of course, the comic relief paladin.
Yes, yes, he is. Next up, I have twin characters played by.
Ryanaga, who is playing Snake, a Yanti sorcerer of a draconic origin, naturally, and Fixer Upper, who is a half-orc war priest.
Absolutely. Followed by Tristan, who is being played by.
Will, and as Alex said, Tristan is the smartest kobold you'll ever meet. That's not saying much.
And last but not least, we have Melrath being played by.
Stormy827. Malrath is an Eldridge Knight.
Marvelous. So we're going to start with a recap of the last adventure. In the last adventure, I'm actually going to zoom out for this because I need a reminder. Here we go. In the last adventure, this is extremely important. The Boots of Speed. I included that description in the group chat, and I need to know who has the Boots of Speed. Because what should have happened last time was I should have made you aware of them. Then one person in the party would have said, "Ooh, me, I really want to have the Boots of Speed," and you would have been wearing them for this combat. And considering that they're moderately powerful item, I think that you should have the ability to equip them now because you only don't because I had oversight. I overlooked it. So,
I know it wasn't me. I thought it was Tazarath.
I think I yanked them off of the little dudes before.
yes,
Yeah, you did.
you guys
Okay.
have the boots.
All right.
That is not in question. What character will wear the boots?
Hmm.
Who needs to be fast?
Exactly.
Well, we don't really have a thief, do we?
No. There's a couple different ways that you can do this, just speaking strategically. Option one is that you give them to one of the fighters, either Melrath or Tazarath, and they wear the boots, and then they can run around the battlefield and like come to people's aids. The other option is that you can give them to the Fixer Upper because the Fixer Upper's Cure Light Wounds is a touch spell. So if people get away from him on the battlefield, it could take him, up to a round or more to get close enough to actually heal them. Now you have Healing Word, but that's also a 30-foot range. So that's another possibility.
I say give it to the healer.
Yeah. And Eric brings up a good point, which is that Tazarath and Fixer Upper are both melee and both healers. So it's a toss up. So which one of you is going to get it? Somebody pick.
Let's give it to Tazarath. I think he needs a little help.
It might help him avoid
Uh,
traps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I just have to take.
We're trying to help you out, bud.
I have to take a second here to see if I can figure out.
It just means I'll run into the
Run into the traps faster.
Role playing treasure satchel. Wait, seriously? Wait a minute. Huh. Okay, then I'm gonna go into the library and just find it that way. New Master's Guide, equipment. Nope, that's not it. Magic items. Boots.
I think I remember you posted in chat that the boots mess with initiative at all.
They don't mess with initiative
But-
at all.
Double your move speed and attacks of opportunity have disadvantage on you
While they're active.
while they're active, right?
These are the boots in question, by the way, if anyone is curious. So what I'm going to do is grab these, drop them here, and then boots, I have to mark them as ID'd, and then equipped. Okay, so It is also very important to note the duration of the boots, which is 10 minutes. Now, in combat, each action you take is 60 seconds. So 10 rounds is 1 minute. So 100 rounds of speed in combat. But outside of combat, when time moves differently, you guys should make sure that your plans are around the fact that it's only going to last for 10 minutes top, and if you use up all 10 minutes, you can't use it at all in combat. Are we clear on that?
Almost. There is one other point that I would need to ask about, and Droki used it for a bit of time before I managed to get it today. Does that count against that total?
That is an excellent question, and I am not going to be a dick about it. No, it does not count against that total.
Yay, thank you.
Yeah. Um, uh, but please do not abuse my goodwill by passing them between characters to accomplish things.
Mm.
So, moving right along. More importantly, and actually, it's funny that Melrush had mentioned partially used boots of speed. It's more like partially scorched boots of speed, because they look real nice in that picture, but the ones that you have are badly scorched by scorching ray, I think it was. Um, so they might be a little less effective than otherwise. So moving on. Last time, the party decided that they were going to go and try to track down the gray dwarf that had escaped them, and so they made their way into some sort of fungal garden. And the fungal garden is actually revealed above the map that you guys are currently on. So, Will, if you're curious about it, you can sort of review. And just the very quick overview was that you came in, you found that there was a crack in the back wall. Nobody decided to investigate it because and there were a ton of fungus that had been grown in this particular garden, had some sort of weird irrigation system going on, and it was found that a lot of the fungus was extremely edible, and some of it was actually very, very rare fungus. So I went into great detail about exactly what was present, and we also discovered that the mushrooms that make you grow big are called bigwigs, and the mushrooms that make you grow small are called pygmy-worts. And other mushrooms have fantastical names as well. Additionally, there seemed to be some sort of alchemical lab nearby. And in that alchemical lab, you guys had found a lab chest, which had some very carefully organized potions that had already been prepared, presumably from the fungus that was available in the next room, including 6 vials of acid, 6 alchemist fire, a potion of fire breath, a potion of greater healing, and a potion of resistance to psychic damage. Additionally, there was a note. I'm going to drop that right there. You can read it yourself.
I'm holding on to it for the record.
Yes, it's on a lizard hide letter, I believe. I'm looking to see. It doesn't look like anything else is here. So that had been investigated. And then at that point, the party had decided that the most prudent thing to do would be to try to go address the room that Droki was supposed to be making the delivery to. Now, in order to make sure that Droki was adequately accounted for, since they couldn't be certain that killing him would be sufficient proof with what they had at hand, they forced him to eat a pygmy wort, which shrunk him down, and then they were able to put him inside of a particularly large glass jar. And so Droki is currently bouncing around in Kyle's backpack, or should we say Bob. So, at the moment, when the party came into the room, they decided that the best thing to do was to send Bob ahead to scout and get a sense of what it was that you were up against before the rest of the party came in and took up positions. Now, unfortunately, Bob happened to find himself across the way from a fungus. Was that fungus identified? Anyone?
I don't think we ever identified it. I think we just managed to shut
Yeah.
it up.
All right, so a randomly screaming fungus set off an alarm, and it has caused a few adversaries to appear within range. Now, it's still quite dark in here, and actually, there's one other thing that I want to reveal while I'm at it. Layers, mask. I'm going to go like this. There's another campfire off in the distance with some bedrolls around it, and you should be able to, excuse me, see those because of the light that they shed. So, anyways, I've extended out the vision as far as you guys can see in dark vision. I very carefully measured it from Kyle's character, and so after the violet fungus thing started screaming, um, some monsters began to appear, including a monster named Narak, who seems to have some warlock abilities to him. There's also a very large two-headed giant-like creature that is on the periphery of your vision and charging towards you on its turn. And you also were able to hear some chanting off in the distance, but that chanting has recently stopped. Um, Additionally, there is a mutated dog of some sort in a cage made out of the fungus equivalent of bamboo. And so at this moment, um, we have gotten into round 3 of combat. Narak is pretty critically wounded. Oh. And of course, the most important thing that happened last time, every single character, with the exception of Tazarath, actually managed to make their way around a unseen trap that was in the floor. And, ooh, I might sneeze. Hold on.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Tazarath, however, being particularly giant and standing next to it to begin with, fell into the trap. It was a simple pit trap, but at the bottom of that pit trap was a green slime, which chewed its way into Tazarath, and he managed to shrug it off and make his way out of the pit, which now shows up as green slime pit trap on the map. So,
I hellish rebuked it for the record.
yes, you did, which is what got the slime off of you. So at the beginning of the round is Tristan, and Snake will be up after him. So begin.
Quick question. Tristan had major armor up at the beginning of the last game I was at, and I've been trying to put it on the damn little guy. I have no idea what.
It's already on him.
Okay. Even if the AC only says 15?
Yes, because what they did on the combat tracker. Do you see your character's name?
Combat tracker.
If you go up to the top, there is a two swords.
Yes, found it.
Yeah. Do you see your character's name at the top of the initiative?
Yes.
Do you see underneath that where it says effects AC :3?
Sweet. Gotcha.
Yeah, so they've applied it there, so it applies to the dice, but it doesn't change your character sheet.
Good to know.
Yep. So, anyways, I'm actually going to give that to you as a freebie because if you were here, you would have done it already. So,
Okay, and I mean, unless it's been 8 hours since 2 games ago.
it has not.
Okay,
anyways,
so see here. How far can I move? That's 30 feet, and then everyone else is kind of farther away than 30 feet, so I think I'm just going to end my turn right here
okay.
and use the dodge action.
By the way, I mentioned this to the other players before, and I know that you've played D&D before, but do you know how to hold action? Because it works a little differently than 3.5.
Yeah, I have to state a sort of a condition that when it is fulfilled, the action happens.
And a specific action to occur. So you can't, for
Yeah.
example, say, I will cast a spell. You have to say, if an enemy shows up, I'll cast magic missile at it, that sort of thing. Now, the other thing about taking hold action is that you are not supposed to be able to move. Like you either move and then do as you did, which is dodge, or you stay where you are and yeah.
Good to know. I will keep that in mind.
Interesting. I wonder why I can't add dodge. Wait, maybe there... I'm just trying to see if there's an easy way to do it. I'm going to take a second here. Okay. Visible. Nope, I don't see an easy way to do it, so I will skip it. Snake, you're up.
Question for you, because I can't find it. The sorcerer point growth table. They say it's in the sorcerer class, but in the sorcerer spell list, but I'm not finding it.
Okay, I'll find it real quick.
Thanks.
Classes.
Because if I have 3 points, then I'll regain a second spell slot, which would be
guys-
ideal.
Are you guys at level 3?
We're at 4.
Okay, then you have 4 sorcery points. And remember, you can actually consume first level spell slots to get sorcery points, which you can then use to regain second level spell slots.
Okay, so I have 4, alright.
Yeah.
So I just gain 1 per level, is that how it goes?
I'm looking. Yeah. And then by 20th level, you have 20 points.
Okay, that's good to know. Alright, I will regain a second level slot using 2 points, which I'm deducting right now.
Did you take your 5th cantrip? You do get one. And I'm looking at the table right now, so.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
So, down 2 points, get a spell slot.
Okay.
Now, I'm just going to move to here. And I guess I'll dodge as well.
Okay. Okay. So next up in the initiative order is Ront. Now, Ront took out the violet fungi last time. Okay. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay. Ront is going to activate a racial passive and moves to here. He has aggressive. He can move as a bonus action equal to his speed towards a hostile creature that he can see. And then he did
He's so brave.
standard move and moved as well. And then he is going to use his javelin and amazingly enough misses. But yeah, no one is braver than Ron. It is time for the hostile green slime pit trap. It will jiggle violently at Tazrath, and then we move on. Spider bait. Man.
I shake my fist at it.
Shakes a pseudopod at you. Here. 10, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Spider-Mate moves to here. He is 5, 10. Wait a minute. Right, it can't show me distance. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Let me check something. Okay, that's within range. So he's going to try to fire off. He hits for... Okay.
Hero of the hour.
Indeed. He manages to land an arrow solidly in Narak's shoulder, further pushing him closer to death. Narak, however, succeeds on his concentration check. Next up is the two-headed giant creature. Okay. All right. Wait, and it's one with each? Yes. 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 35, 40. So the creature moves to this point and decides to multi-attack Ront. That's a hit. That's a hit.
Ron's dead.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, okay. Maybe not. Oh, okay, he's dead.
Ront is now dying. I do, however, kind of love, now that I'm zoomed in, the tiny little box with X eyes and a line for a mouth. That's pretty cute.
Yeah.
Anyways, the two-headed giant creature charges across the battlefield. It roars and it lifts a battle axe and a morning star. And it first hits him with the battle axe in one side, and then the morning star comes down and crushes him from the other direction. Ront crumples to the ground with a pitiful moan. Um, the two-headed giant creature roars in triumph and looks very smug at the rest of the party, shaking his battle axe in your direction. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Fargus moves into position and takes careful aim at the two-headed giant. You hit my friend! Prepare to die!
Or take 4.
Yeah. 4 damage is different from death. Melrath, you are up.
What can I do to identify this giant?
You can roll... That's a good question. Actually, let me check the creature's entry to get a clue. Believe it or not, I'm going to call this nature. That is a giant creature.
It's really big and scary.
Okay then. Well, I'll just shoot at Nara.
Okay.
Move up here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my turn.
Good job.
Okay. Next up is Sareth. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Moves into position. He's going to attempt to cast Fairy Fire. Unfortunately, the giant succeeds on his saving throw, and the spell is for naught. Next up is the dog-like creature. It cannot move, so Fixer Upper, you are up. Also, I'm going to be recalculating dark vision. 15, 20. You can keep going. 25, 30, 35.
Recalculate.
I just wanted you guys to know that, like, that was going to be getting revealed. There we go.
Ooh, what a great roll. That's a giant.
30, 35, 40. Okay, so here as well. I'll go to like there. Yeah, that's insufficient to tell you much more about this giant.
Okay.
Is it something you're waiting for? Or?
I'm going to create a spiritual weapon.
Okay.
Because that gets me in range, I believe. Yeah, it's 60 range. So that's just created, I guess.
So, first of all, does anybody remember what the oh, I remember now. Eric had created a illusion of a goblin there, which has not at this point done much of anything for you. What we're going to do is we're going to use our pointer, and I'm going to draw a cone.
Okay.
This cone is your spiritual weapon. So what happens is you pick where it is that. Whoop, okay, now I know what I need to grab. That, there we go. You tell me where it
5, 10,
goes,
15, 20, 25,
and it
30,
appears
30,
there.
40, 45, 50, 55, 60.
If you want to grab it, grab the point and not the wide end. I think you can move my pointers.
Doesn't look like it.
Okay, then create your own.
Okay.
Okay. Pointer is in position.
All right. So I will attack rock. Okay. My targeted.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Oh.
Cool.
Okay.
Well.
Wow.
Oh, nice. We'll take it.
Wait, what? Wait. Why did the necrotic damage on Eric?
Wasn't that an effect? That
Yeah, I had some sort of
That was his
strength
concentration.
disadvantage.
Oh, I guess this must be another concentration spell. That's interesting. Okay, so anyways, your spiritual weapon appears out of thin air. Now, your god is a god of war, so um, the um, did you actually name the god or just war?
I didn't name it.
Okay.
But you're welcome to if something.
Well, the only reason I ask is because the spiritual hammer is supposed to take on some appearance relative to your god. So if you had chosen,
I'll look it up. I'll look it up when my turn's over. Then.
well, you can also just name the weapon that you manifest.
Okay.
Whatever.
We'll call it Steve for now.
Oh, that's cute. But what I meant was a rapier, a longsword, a great axe.
Steve the Rapier.
Okay. A rapier manifests out of thin air directly in front of a very surprised Iraq, and before he can, he stumbles backwards as it raises up in the air, and then it thrusts down, piercing his heart, and impales him as he dies upon it.
Cool.
Bob is up. Bob has been a wuss so far, so what will we do? What will we do? What is
I don't
this
even know what higher level spells he has.
I do, but I don't necessarily want to use them just yet. Although he has been pretty aggressive with them.
Would gods be under backgrounds or story?
Library, player's handbook, reference manual,
There's
appendices,
Oh, okay.
appendix B.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, I see how it works. Okay, then based on that, Bob reaches his hand out into the air and makes a tiny twist of his wrist as Toll the Dead sounds.
Ooh.
Oops. How do I make this go? I think I do this here. The creature saves on against the bell and takes no damage. Next up. 15, 20, 30.
God of War is Tempest, so we'll just go with it.
Yeah, what's Tempest's symbol?
An upright flaming sword.
Okay, so it is now an upright flaming sword. Well, a pointed down flaming sword. Right, so a gray dwarf rushes out from beyond your vision, and he races over and gets to the lever and unleashes the door, allowing the dog creature within free. He is going to move because that was his reserved action. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Next up. 10, 15, 20. Moves into position. Is this? Yep. 5, 10, 30. 30, and you go and click, 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 and boom. Tazarath, you're up at the bottom of the round.
Yep. So since I've got those boots of speed, I calculated it. I am 10 spaces away from the two-headed giant, which I'm going to identify first.
Or try.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Okay, nature.
Hey, you did it.
All right. Click. This creature is an Etten. It is a foul, two-headed giant with crude characteristics similar to that of an orc. It never bathes if it can help it, and its thick skin usually is encrusted with a layer of dirt and grime beneath the stinking hide it wears. Its long stringy hairs and an unkempt mess about its face, and its breath reeks from mouths filled with crooked teeth and tusks. These creatures are two individuals trapped in the same brutish body, and each head has a mind of its own, a personality and name, and possesses unique preferences and quirks. Um, it is. It tends to favor orcs, but that's not relevant here. So, things that are relevant. This creature is known to have dark vision. It is a giant. It has its two heads gives it a number of advantages against saving throws that would cause status effects like blinded, deafened, things like that, because generally they affect one head or the other. It is also the case that no matter what, when one of the Ettin's heads is asleep, the other is awake. So sleep magic does not work against it. And each head gets an action, and it controls an arm and a leg. So as a result, it is able to make an attack with the Morning Star and the battle axe that it wields. So these creatures are big, they're tough, they have a lot of hit points, they're very much physical fighters. And there you have it. So you have identified the giant.
All right, and with that, I'm going to use the boots ability. Sprint up close to the, which is 10 spaces,
Mm-hmm.
and I will greatsword it. And since I am large, it should do 2d8 if I hit rather than 2d6.
Correct. Make sure that you just grab the. Hold on a second. Okay. Yeah, make sure that you grab the appropriate dice from down below and not from your weapon, and roll those. And then we'll just make sure we add in your strength. So actually, when you roll those 2d8, you can change the modifier to reflect your strength score, and it should roll properly.
So before you roll that, I'm just gonna say, because this guy's big and we probably want him down as fast as possible, I have one last portent for a day. It's a 19. You roll a 19.
Sounds good.
Chris?
I roll a 19, you say?
Yeah,
Yep.
there's something you might want to do with that 19. Can you think of what it is?
I'll let you inform me, because I have not slept very well, so I'm not.
Smite, 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 smite.
That would be it.
That would be an excellent idea, except I have no first level spell slots left.
Ah, indeed.
Unfortunate.
However, the 19 is used. Does that hit the Etten
Yes.
with a 23? Okay. So, it is time for 2d8 plus 2, I believe, since my sword is normally 2d6 plus 2.
Okay. All right. So you charge up to the. There we go. Yeah, that's appropriate. As giant to giant, you charge up to the Etten. You swing your sword as well as you can muster, assisted by Tristan's portent. He foresaw this attack, and it is a brutal one. The creature, of course, still has a great amount of fortitude left, and while injured, it is not even at the point of being bloodied yet. So we return to the top of the round. Tristan, you are up.
I have a question. How do NPCs and being down and being dead, do they have death saving throws,
do.
or are they just dead?
For the purpose of this game, I'm choosing to do death saving throws because it is clear that the party enjoys having the NPCs around, so they can die just in the same way that a player can.
And if someone in the party identifies a monster, we all know the information about it, right?
Yeah, I generally assume that when one player gains knowledge, that they specifically go ahead and tell all other players.
Okay, given that my debuffs will it be at disadvantage or it at advantage, I'm just going to toll the dead.
Wait, what?
You were saying anything that's like a debuff, like Tasha City's Laughter on the Etten,
Well,
it would have advantage on because they're two heads.
It has advantage on saving throws against blinded, charmed, deafened, frightened, stunned, and knocked unconscious.
Not incapacitated, though.
No.
Well, why the hell not? That's worth the spell slot.
And it fails!
Congrats.
Is this a chicken crossing the road joke, or?
You know how they say two heads are better than one? Well, you're about to have none.
So Tristan's oh wow, Tristan's quip catches the Ettins off guard, and they both fall upon their very rotund ass and begin to chuckle great belly laughs. The creature is incapacitated, and actually, will wait. Maybe I can steal it from your character sheet. Actions, Tasha's effect. Bloop. There we go.
So that means disadvantage on.
It is prone, meaning on the ground, incapacitated, and incapacitated can't take actions or reactions. It is unable to stand up, and it saves on the end of the round, and again if damage is dealt to it. So any attacks on this creature will result in it making an immediate save against the effect.
Okay.
Now,
But as it's prone, melee attacks will have advantage on it, and ranged attacks will have disadvantage.
Disadvantage, yeah. Okay.
Additionally, there's two more characters that act before this creature's turn. So even if you take away incapacitated, prone may add benefit to your attacks for at least two characters. So there you go. Anything else?
I said,
Yep, he's just moving, and that's it.
sorry.
Okay. Next up in the initiative order is Snake.
All right. I'm just checking the range on Scorching Ray here. Okay. So I'm going to try and roast the new entries to the battlefield. So I do have 120 range.
Okay.
So I think I need to move, but let's go.
So who are you
5,
targeting?
10, 15, 20, 25. If I move here, oh, the dog hasn't been identified?
Correct.
You spin me right round, baby,
Also a
right
All right.
nature
round.
check.
All right, I will roll that first.
Ron's rolling in his grave. Ah.
Neat.
Might not really have been. Oh yeah, that definitely wasn't a nature check, but it's fine. I'll just go with it. This creature is a death dog.
Oh yeah,
This is a picture.
lovely.
A death dog is an ugly two-headed hound that roams plains and deserts at the Underdark. Hate burns in the death dog's heart, and a taste for humanoid flesh drives it to attack travelers and explorers. Death dog's saliva carries a foul disease that causes the victim's flesh to slowly rot off the bone. It is also
What is it?
two-headed. Hmm? Chris?
I was about to say, what is it with all this dicephaly?
Yeah, I know, right? It is also two-headed, so it has the same benefits and resistances that the Etten has. This creature has a multi-attack and can make 2 bites, because of course it has 2 heads. And of course it has a disease, but you aren't particularly familiar with the extent of that disease.
Hmm.
It's just known that it has one. Um,
So no fire resistance.
Actually, I don't believe so, but let me double check. I click here.
Of course.
It has no resistances or immunities that you are aware of, and the only condition immunities it has are those granted by its trait of two-headed.
Okay. All right, I'll scorch it.
Okay, so we're targeting Death Dog. What else?
I think we'll just. I imagine it has a fair amount of hit points, so
It's
I
hard
think
to say.
Hmm.
I mean, it's the size of a dog, not even a wolf, so.
All right, then 2 on it, and the third one will be on unidentified creature 2.
Okay. So roll the first 2 against the Death Dog, and then I'll switch your target.
Okay. Should I just drop this in the chat, or should I roll on him?
Roll on him.
Okay. Mm-mm-mm.
Okay, that's a
Okay.
hit. Roll again.
Roll again.
Okay.
Wow.
So at this point, go ahead and roll the damage for this. Okay.
That's 1. Ugh.
Okay. And then I'm going to change your target. Clear to unidentified creature 2. And actually, the okay. I hold on a second. There we go. These are actually Darrow. You guys had identified Narak in air quotes before,
Mhm.
so you therefore know information about Darrow as well. Where was I? So it's actually Darrow cultist, but you are already targeted, so go ahead. Okay. Then roll your damage.
Oh, and that becomes 2 because I can't roll ones, so it's 4.
Okay.
And then to end my turn, I'm just gonna use my remaining sorcerer points, of which there are 2, to regain 1 spell slot.
Okay. So go ahead and click it off.
Okay. And I'm done.
Alrighty then. Next up is Ront. I'm going to roll him a death saving throw. He fails. Wait, does he fail? No, he succeeds. Sorry about that. I'm supposed to add his con bonus.
Good.
Green slime. Spider bait. Spider bait moves up to here. He hopes that the goblin image will help confuse the creature and decides to follow your lead and attack the death dog. The creature is agile, however, and he misses. The Etten is up. If I go like this, okay. Hold on a second. Well, I don't see a way to force him to save against it, so I'll just roll for him. He saves against the effect, but he saves against the effect as a function of the end of his turn. So he is still prone. I shouldn't have done that. How do I do this? How do I do this? Okay. I'm just going to reapply the effect because it will cover the prone. And I'll just remove it when he's able to stand up. Fargus is up.
So he stands up at the end of the round, is what you're saying?
No. On his turn, because of incapacitated, he can take no action or no movement. The only time that he's allowed to save against effects against him are at the end of his turn.
I see. Okay.
So he has to end his turn in order to be able to save.
Okay.
And then when he does so, yeah. So anyways, Fargus is up. Gonna fire here, taking his advantage against the creature, and there we go. So I'm just gonna subtract 6 of that. There we go. He was supposed to get sneak attack damage because Tazarath is adjacent, and so
okay.
I just re-rolled it, which is fine. Melrath, you are up.
I'm going to poke the Etten.
Okay. Shit. Excellent. The Etten has gone into bloody territory, by the way. Next up is Sareth. What will he do?
Is bloody just over 50%?
50% or over.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that our strategy has devolved to kick him while it's down, kick him while it's down.
I mean, the fact that he went prone has been like really bad for him. Unfortunately, Sareth, despite his advantage, was unable to connect a shot. Oh, I'm sorry. He has disadvantage on ranged attacks, so Fargus got really lucky.
Kick him in the...
Death Dog is up. Let me check something. Oh, yeah, definitely. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Death Dog moves into position down here, and he's going to multi-attack you, Chris.
Of course.
And a hit. Oh, oh. And then... Wow. I just can't fail.
Not against him.
So here's 6 points of damage, and most importantly...
You mean the disease I'm immune to as a paladin?
I'll just roll more damage then.
You sound so disappointed, Alex.
Yeah.
Disappointed. I was like looking at the AC, and I'm like, well, he's never gonna bite Eric, so I guess I have to bite Chris, and then I bite Chris, and everything goes wrong. So
This was Chris's biggest move of the game, being immune to a disease that was successfully inflicted on him.
Well, I remember when you guys came across the mummy. Fixer upper.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like Spiritual Weapon can be a bonus action now, so I have 2 attacks, essentially.
Well, yes, that's correct. I think that the but here is that I think with your bonus action you can either move or attack. I don't think you can move and attack. And since it is far enough away from the Etten that it cannot swing at him, I think your bonus action is to move it into position.
All right.
Did you check the spell against what I said though?
Well,
No, it says as a bonus action on your turn, you can move the weapon up to 20 feet and repeat the attack against a creature within 5 feet of it.
Okay, that's fine then. So you can move and
thank you,
attack.
Will. Yeah, I thought I had it right. Okay.
Yeah, I was reciting from memory, so I wasn't sure.
Okay. Now how do I pick this thing up?
You have to pick from the pointy end.
Yeah, it won't let me do that now.
Hmm.
Pointers.
Just create a new one. I'll delete this one.
Okay.
Actually, I'll leave it in place until you create the new one so we can check and make sure it's within 20 feet.
It's right there. So.
Okay. So then I'm going to delete this one.
Okay.
There you go. So roll the attack against the Etten. Or rot, as the case may be.
That would be quite the twist.
The healer's turned against the party!
Where is he? Oh, there he is. Okay.
Well done.
Okay.
Okay. All right. The spectral flaming sword continues to hammer against the Atten. Next up is
5,
no, Fixer
5,
Upper's not
10,
done.
15, 20, 25. Oh, Chris's size prevents me from getting.
That sounds about right.
Thanks for getting the way there, big fat ass. Jeez.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, I guess I have.
You could heal me.
I mean,
All right, you
can.
are my meat shield right now, so okay, I'll do that.
Yay. Oops, I
I'm
cast. Oops, I cast inflict by mistake. Wrath dies.
So I'm just gonna roll. I'm just gonna drop heal on him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where are you?
He's the big one.
Oh yeah, but I was trying to find him in the combat tracker. He's at the bottom. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm at the very, very end.
All right.
Be healed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Next up in the initiative order is Bab. Bab
Bab.
is going to he's going to try to toll the dead again. I don't know if this is going to work out for him. Wow. The
Wow,
Etten
indeed.
gets a nat 20 on his save. Holy shit. So toll the dead once again does not toll for the Etten. So the Darrow cultist is going to move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 feet. And then once he gets to that point, he fires off here. A crossbow bolt whizzes by your head.
Your weapons are useless against me.
Only because Chris's fat ass was in the way. Darrow cultist 2, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25,
And you
30.
got to quote Prince.
Yes.
Takes a shot at Spiderbait. Also narrowly missing. Darrow cultist number 3.
You're a great meat shield, Chris.
This guy.
You block their view.
It's my calling in life.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 30. Wait, why is that guy invisible? There we go. Alright, you. Personal space. There we go. Click, click, click. Tazarath, you're up.
I'm going to try and finish off this friggin' Now, I will say, before you tell me whether I hit or not, I reserve the right to use my channel divinity, but I may not use it if I wind up hitting it.
What?
So my channel divinity, I can of course be terrifying, but I'm not going to do that right now, and it wouldn't be
Guided
terribly
strike.
effective right now.
Make
Yeah, you
guided
get
strike.
plus 10.
Oh,
I
see,
can
this is
use.
actually very difficult for us to pull off because there's no way for you to know whether or not you hit without the computer auto calculating it.
Right.
So here's what I would rather you do.
Yeah, that's
I would like you to just roll a d20 and make sure that you add a sufficient modifier to account for the bonus you normally have. Oh, for fuck's sake. Account for the bonus that you would normally have to hit. And then, based on that number, I will manually check against the creature's armor class. And that way,
okay.
that's how we're going to handle that. And so I will ask you yes, no, whether or not you're going to use it. And then once I get a sense, I'll tell you whether you hit. Deal?
Okay. It is roll d20 at a +4. Hata. I don't think I need to use it right now.
I would say probably not. So, roll your damage.
2d.
Don't forget your modifier.
Oh, you're right. 2d8. I hit +2. There.
Where are you? Damage applied.
Okay. And that's that.
Tristan, you're up.
Wait 1 second. Snake, you can take out the Etten, alright?
Will do.
Cool, then I'm going to make the dog laugh. I don't understand how this is going to work, but
Is it restricted against intelligent creatures?
I don't think so.
Okay, well then, I mean, hyenas laugh, so
They like to laugh.
they love to laugh.
Oh wait, never mind. A creature with an intelligence score of 4 or less isn't affected.
Well, let
So
me check real quick. Yeah, this is not affected. It's an animal. Well, I'm sorry.
okay,
It has animal intelligence. It is a monstrosity creature type.
well if that's the case, then I'm just going to toll the dead on the.
He fails.
And he's taking damage, so. Really?
That is unfortunate. Yeah. Yeah, so this particular Etten is very resistant to having the dead told against him. Just
Yes.
that's how it goes. Unfortunate. Snake, you're up.
So we know he's bloodied. Are we allowed to get like any kind of tracker on how much damage has been dealt to him? A sense, perhaps?
Who?
On the giant?
Yeah, I have a tracker on him.
Right, and could you share any information with me?
Well, sort of. Like, this creature is probably teetering. How's that?
Okay. Alright. I just don't want to waste.
Oh, I
anything.
understand, but like obscured hit points are an important part of the rules. So.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying like if I was really paying attention, I could have taken note of all the damage he had taken, and assuming he's at like I don't know 1/3 left. But all right, fine.
Don't be conservative, or else we'll have to rely on spider bait to finish him off before he gets up again.
Yeah, I won't be conservative here. Rare for me, but I'll do it here. I will cast Scorching Ray, targeting him 3 times.
Well, actually, you can cast and then do the damage and see what the result is, and then choose.
Oh, I'm allowed to do that?
I don't
Okay.
see any reason not to.
All right, then I'll do that. So I just drop it on his head
Mm-hmm.
or heads.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Bum, 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 bum,
Oh,
bum,
Eric
bum.
dropped off. Deal your damage.
Oh. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the scorching ray is all it takes. The creature expires and collapses to the ground, scorched, as per the ray. So choose your next two targets.
I would like to target, if I can get around, Giant Chris, the
Oh,
Death
he's
Dog.
not an impediment to targeting.
Okay. So.
You just sort of shooting between his legs.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Chris, move your fat leg. You hit?
Yeah, that's what that was. Oh, I didn't target him though.
No, you didn't, but that's fine. You would hit with that.
All right, thanks.
Wait, is that accurate? Hold on. Yeah, that's accurate.
The death.
Yeah.
Someone was hitting on a 13.
Okay. And I'll attack him again.
Okay.
Nice.
Well done.
Very nice.
In addition to being the most damage you could possibly deal, that particular scorching ray severely blasts the creature, and it took it right on the flank, and it is not in good condition. It's
Cool.
whining, and it smells like burnt hot dogs. Ront is going to make a death saving throw. He makes it, so he's on 2 successes.
Good.
The green slime pit continues to quiver aggressively. Spiderbait will take aim at the death dog and critically misses. Holy shit. He is terrified of that thing, and possibly for good reason. Fargus also takes aim against Death Dog and hits.
Nice. Good job, Fergus.
Now let me also make sure that he has his sneak attack on this time. And snipes the dog through not one
Wow.
but 2 heads, pinning it to the wall. Where are you, Death Dog? There you go. Melrath.
More like Dead Dog.
Melrath, are you back with us?
Yeah,
Ow.
I'm going to run up and hit cultist number 1.
Okay.
Poor guy.
And I'm done.
All
Did you
right.
wind up taking my place as comic relief character?
Yeah, apparently.
Sereth is up. He slips into he slips into position around Chris.
And
Fires off a
misses.
hand crossbow and misses again. Fixer upper.
2 things. I'll spare the dying on our friend.
Okay. You know, if he rolls one more success, that he just gets up with 1 hit point, right?
So it's 1 success or 2 more failures? How does that work exactly?
Well, if he gets 3 successes, he stands up with 1 hit point and rejoins the battle. If he gets 3 failures, then he dies.
Right. Well, I don't want to...
Did he have a failure previously?
Yeah, he did.
No,
I
he
thought.
didn't.
Oh.
I was wrong because I forgot to include the.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then I won't waste my turn.
Good.
I'll just move up to, well, first I'll move the spiritual weapon.
Can you move the spiritual weapon?
Yeah, to target 2.
No, I mean on the battlefield, the marker itself, which you were having
No.
difficulty. Okay.
I cannot.
Okay, then I'm going to exit Mask mode. Grab this. You just want it to be here, right?
Oh, I just drew another one.
That's fine.
Okay. It's on 2. Okay. Oh, that was bad. Fortunately, I have my other action to attack normally.
Wow. Still though, +5 to hit. Not bad.
And
You have to dodge your own spiritual weapon, by the way. Narratively.
ouch.
From a nat 1 to a nat 20.
Yeah, it's just all over the place here. You just outright cave its skull in.
Cool.
Yeah. That wow. Bob. Bob is gonna have to finally move. I'm gonna move him to here. And then from here 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Bob's gonna move to here. That's 60. Because that should allow him to... Don't want to do that. Yeah, they're both exactly the same. He hits. He fires off his Eldritch Blast and deals
Good job, Bob.
8 points of force damage, causing the creature to take heavy damage. He falls into bloody in a single hit, and the shadowy blast, scars away at some of his skin, causing it to peel back. And now he gets to go. Revenge! Badoop. Oh. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Gets to here. Whips out his late repeating crossbow. Fires at you. Misses like a chump. Moves to here. Takes his own pot shot. Okay.
Wow.
These guys are complete nub sauce.
Well, we took out the big threats.
Ha! Victory!
I spoke too soon.
And they do a tiny bit of damage. Tazarath, I would like to point out that these creatures are positively tiny compared to you. Have at.
Stomp them.
I'm gonna head over here. Use my... Well, we could bring in more of these idiots alive for the sake of evidence.
So, subdual damage as a giant?
Actually, I was thinking of using my channel divinity to terrify the living crap out of them.
Okay.
How does that help you?
If they're terrified, we can force them to shrink and put them in jail.
What?
Is that how it works?
Well, we've got shrinking mushrooms, so...
Yeah, we do. We do. We have a collection.
So, we can do to them what we did to Droki, and we've got
Chris,
evidence people.
I have a very important and awkward question to ask you. Have you ever tried to feed a terrified being?
That's a good point.
Yes, it is. I'm sorry, but I had to point that out for you.
So, subdual damage on one, maybe? I don't know.
You can knock it unconscious, and if you truly want to throw him in the jar with Droki, you can try to force.
I don't want to throw all three in, though. We don't need that many.
Yeah.
Fair.
Pick one that's your favorite, and we'll keep that one.
Pick a favorite.
Can we keep him? No.
No.
We can only keep one. And Eric has number one that he wants to bash to smithereens, so.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. I'll bash 5 to smithereens, and we'll keep 3 or 4. It's whatever. Oh,
Or not.
Wow, those little things are actually like really crafty. It's a
Yeah.
bit difficult to pull that together. So, anyways, back to the top of the round. It is Tristan's turn, who will not be terrifying and force feeding small creatures.
5, 10, 15, 20. Actually, 20, 25. Okay, good amount of people between me and them, but I can still. Dong.
Holy shit. Okay.
Well,
so
He succeeded. And has advantage against the effect for some reason. Why does he have advantage against that effect? What am I missing? Magic resistance, right.
Oh, right.
all I know is that the Undertaker
Actually, in
theme failed.
fairness, you guys have already identified the creature, and I should have pointed that out in the interest of fairness, because you can't reasonably be expected to remember them all. Would you have cast something different had you known that?
no, to toss a dagger at his ass.
Okay. Would you rather do that?
Sure.
All right.
Such a kind DM.
The question is, oh, here we go.
Nice.
Lucky shot. And
No
you
kills
kill
for
it.
Eric.
It's okay. Eric will reap the whirlwind soon. Click that, and then close the rest of this. Move that out of the way. All right. So your dagger is thrown quite precisely,
15, 20, 25,
impacting the
30.
Darrow cultist and causing it to collapse. Snake, do something horrible.
I'm going to try and poison. Well, actually, no. No, I don't want to give them advantage. Firebolt.
Firebolt.
Firebolt on number 2 or number 5.
Okay.
Okay.
You hit.
Ugh.
Unfortunately, you fail to the creature.
That was terrible.
Yeah. It's a glancing blow from a firebolt.
Sad.
His clothes are singed, but Ront would go. He has no turn. Green Slime Pit quivers in anticipation of Spiderbait's turn, who fires off a short bow at no one. The cave ceiling, apparently. Fargus is going to try to take advantage of Tazarath's presence to sneak attack here. And
Wow.
that sneak attack just outright kills the creature.
Fargus is a beast this round. This combat. Wow.
I mean, when you guys are close enough, that hand crossbow,
Mm-hmm.
it's a real threat.
He's gotten. I think that's his 3rd sneak attack.
Yeah, he keeps landing them. Melrath, end someone.
Yeah, I guess that little guy's number 3.
The little guy, yeah, he's number.
He's the baby.
Oh God, I made him smaller. There we go. You hit? Really? Wow.
Sorry.
I mean, I'm sorry that your 1 point of damage is over half his hit points. So, I mean, it's still kind of impressive in its own way. Sareth is going to try to take revenge and succeeds at killing the wounded Darrow, I should say. He is a drow. Fixer Upper, it's your turn. And there's a creature
So-
already adjacent to your attack.
Did Ront roll, or just at the end of the round?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we had done the saving thing. I forgot to do that. Let me roll for him. He got a 16, so he succeeds. And
All right, so I don't have to worry about him. Cool.
no, you don't. However, he stands up, and that'll be his turn. We'll call that.
Can my spiritual weapon do subdual damage?
Yeah.
All right. So I will subdual damage number 4.
Okay.
Spiritual weapon. Cast at number 4.
Jeez, you're rolling critical hits like mad.
Yeah.
I'm actually just gonna fudge that and give him 1 additional point of damage because he's the last guy in here, and
Yeah.
you guys clearly have this, so we'll end it a second.
Okay. So he's
Um,
unconscious.
Yeah, he's unconscious. So your critical hit lands, does a significant amount of damage, and knocks him unconscious. So mighty swing of your warhammer and all that.
All right. I'm gonna prayer of healing now that the combat's over.
There we go. So you remove him from the battlefield. So now that you have knocked this creature unconscious, you wait with bated breath for a full minute, let's say. No further creatures appear from the gloom. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and reveal the rest of this because, of course, the very next thing that you're going to do is explore. So,
Well, the very next thing I'm going to do is walk back towards the pit trap and essentially firebolt the green slime at the bottom to death.
okay. There we go. I'm trying to reveal this, but I couldn't scroll while revealing.
So you wanted to be out of range of my prayer of healing? Got it.
There we go, and that as well.
Fair point. I'll wait for that.
Okay. So, tell me who you'd like to target with Prayer of Healing.
Up to 6 creatures, right?
Yeah, only 3 creatures are actually wounded. Ront,
Yeah.
Tazareth, and sorry,
Works for me.
technically Snake took a point of damage. I don't know if you care about that or not.
Yeah, might as well.
Okay. Targeting. Go ahead.
I just cast in the chat.
I don't see anything.
Oh, right, it's heal. Heal in the chat.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, the party significantly recovers from its wounds. Ront looks markedly better. He's still a bit wounded, but you know, it makes him look manly or something. I don't know. Moving on. So now that you have managed to clear pointers, remove this, these creatures from the area, you have the opportunity to explore. So I should note. Let me see here. Well, tell me what you explore. Like plop a little pointer down, an arrow pointing at what you'd like to explore, and I'll tell you about what you find.
How do
Because
we do
that way
that?
I can do it in whatever order you choose.
Before I explore, like I said, I'm going to kill the slime at the bottom of the pit.
Yeah, I'm clear on that. It's dead.
Yeah, that's what I was going to pick.
It turns out that it actually recoils pretty quickly from Firebolt. It does not seem to be a very resilient creature. So, somebody create a pointer so that we can explore.
I did.
Yeah, pointing at the center.
Oh my gosh, I'm so
Thing.
sorry. Okay, I gotta reposition some stuff. Okay, now that I finally got full view of the area, describe how you're examining this circle. Oh, and actually, you know what? Before that happens, let me describe the circle so you know what the fuck you're looking at. Okay, let's see here. So the platform itself, the cavern floor rises to form a natural 5-foot high platform in this area. Okay. Um, Hold on a second. There's like a. What is happening? Okay, it doesn't look like it's an emergency. Sorry. Natural 5-foot high platform. A glowing ritual circle dominates the top of the platform. It looks like in the center of the ritual circle is a statue. Um, it's about 2 feet tall. It probably weighs around 100 pounds. It looks vaguely like a crouching stone giant with a lump on its neck. Um, and the statue is engraved with profane symbols, scribed in Dwarvish to its back or onto its back. And the magical circle is huge. I don't remember exactly how big it is across. Um, Surprisingly enough, it doesn't say. I mean, I could always count the squares, but I think it's like 30, 45 feet across or something like that. So, uh, yeah. So you're standing on the outside of it. Are you going to go in and inspect the statue or what?
I'm going to get on someone's shoulders and look at it from a much higher viewpoint. And when I say someone, I mean the tall.
Ah,
You're being voluntold.
okay. So Tazarath is brought near the circle um, to assist with Tristan's lifting up. And so, what is it you're trying to accomplish from this height?
Just to see what the. I am a wizard, obviously, magical circles are my thing. I'm just trying to see it as a whole instead of trying to piecemeal it from like around the side, sort of to get a better idea of what it was attempting to do, or what it is attempting to do before I put my foot across.
Okay. Um, that's going to be an Arcana check, which is not actually that much aided by your increased height, but go ahead. Hmm. Well,
um,
yes,
can we all roll?
yes.
Okay.
Anybody that is rolling, however, has to be on the platform. So move your characters accordingly.
Bu-bu-bu. Bu-bu-bu.
Okay. Hmm.
And there we go.
Oh, okay, marvelous. Um, so everybody comes up onto the platform, and you're all examining this. And for Tristan, for Tazarath, Melrath, and the Fixer Upper, um, this ritual circle actually does not seem like it should work at all. And the reason for that is that normally a ritual circle is a mathematically measured and highly precise shape with subshapes within it, with patterns. Um, this particular circle is one that is extraordinarily chaotic. It does not seem to have organization to it, and it is like trying to figure out what a window looked like from the shattered remains of the glass. However, um, Snake starts to get some information together about this. And with Melrath in the vicinity, who can also read Dwarvish, the statue's profane symbols have the name Dorhoon inscribed onto its back. Does that name sound familiar to anybody?
Oh, yeah. Crazy dude that attacked us in the marketplace.
It's one and the same, and it very much looks like the ritual circle has been powering um, some of that transformation because that strange growth on his neck is there. And as you guys are standing here, you're investigating the circle. Just from looking at it and trying to figure it out, you can see that the growth on the neck of the statue is actually pulsing, kind of wriggling around back and forth, which is extremely off-putting and very very creepy. However, as for Snake's actual information, it you recognize that these profane symbols are related to the demonic entity Demogorgon. It seems that this ritual is intended to cause mutation. Okay. Right, that's not related to this. Okay. Seem to cause mutation and madness. It also seems that if anyone was to step into the circle as it presently stands while active, they would likely be affected by some of that madness that is being channeled into Dorhoon.
It would probably be a good idea to disrupt the circle.
Yes, and thanks to your exceptionally good roll, it turns out that something as complex as this takes a little bit more effort to work with than, like, erasing one line. But there's a couple different points around the circle, so Snake very carefully instructs everyone on the precise um, um, uh, break in the circle that needs to happen. And everybody spreads out, and on his mark, you all sort of use your foot to erase a line, and the circle's power begins to glow slower and slower, and then it fades. And then the pulsing growth that was on the statue cracks and pops, and it sort of oozes this black, sludgy material down the side of the statue.
Ooh, yummy.
Delicious. Additionally,
I'm wondering what Dorhoon's caregivers are dealing with exploded second head or something like that.
incidentally, I was looking up the character names to make sure that I had everything correct. I believe that Dorhoon is the brother of Rihood. Rihood was the Mad Giant,
Oh, okay.
just for reference. Now, on this platform, since you guys are up here and looking around, there is a similar broken statue, which is located over near an iron chest and a pile of books. And I believe, where's my drawing capability? Here it is. I believe this is that. Additionally, mhm, mhm, mhm.
Hmm.
Ah, based on the role that Snake has, now that he understands the circle better, the statue that is here of Rihood's with Rihood written on it, um, if you were able to return this statue, which, like I said, is like 100 pounds, back to Stone Speaker Hram, he would be able to remove the curse that has afflicted Rihood.
Great.
Hold on. Um, there is. Okay. Over here, actually, I'm sorry. In the circle area that I drew, there is an iron chest, which is at present locked.
Somebody else can approach that thing. I'm nervous.
Um, I have a spell slot for find traps if we want to do that.
Okay.
It's not the traps I'm worried about.
Oh, okay. You mean? All right.
Also, while we're doing that, is Alex, is that crack on the right side of the map? Does that mean there's an exit?
Yes, there is. There's one of those same exits that you guys have been using the mushrooms to help you navigate.
Well, they're thinking about the chest. I'm just gonna plug it up with the mold earth cantrip till later, till we decide to use it.
Okay, understood. You move some earth and impede entrance through that area. You can't seal it off completely with a spell of that level. Okay?
All right. I use find traps on the chest.
Okay. You cast Find Traps. And you find no traps on the chest.
That's a waste of a slot.
We are in a
Anyone
good
have,
resting.
anyone have proficiency with thieves' tools?
I don't think so.
I'm not sure,
I think
actually.
Maybe we can roll
the only
strength
one who
checks
would be
to break it. I don't know.
I'm checking Kyle's inventory. Abilities in front of notes. Personality traits. Discredited academic. So he doesn't have that either.
Didn't we have a thief, but the thief died?
Oh,
Yes,
I'm
the thief
sorry.
got eaten.
Well, Fargus is technically a thief.
True.
Let's see. I'm gonna roll for him. Oh, he got a 7. That's not good enough to open the lock.
Can we use the acid to our advantage? We've got several vials on us.
You could, but you could also end up melting the lock in such a way that it won't open at all. There might be a key around.
That would make more sense. What the heck was on Narak's body?
Oh.
Narak's impaled body.
Well, first of all, where should I put
Sorry, that was a misclick.
Narak?
Oh, okay. I was wondering.
Let's see here. Actually, Narak's body contains robes, a wand which he used as a spell focus, and he has a key around his neck. It's made of iron.
Lovely.
The chest is made of iron.
Mm-hmm.
Eric has lost his
Let's
mind
open it.
again. You put the key into the chest, it clicks open, and inside you find several things. First of all, where is it? Inventory? Inventory. I think I go like that. There we go. 45 gold pieces, 15 silver pieces, and 1 jar of Kigadam's ointment. Kigadam's ointment, for everybody else's reference, is a glass jar with 3 applications. It smells. It's a thick mixture that smells faintly of aloe. It's kind of think of it in the same way as you would think of like Vicks Vapor Rub. That's about the consistency and smell of it. As an action, 1 dose of the ointment can be swallowed or applied to the skin. The creature that receives it regains 2d8 plus 2 hit points and ceases to be poisoned and is fully cured of disease.
Nice.
Indeed. So, who's going to hold that?
It would probably be either me or the fixer-upper, I guess.
Okay, I'm going to put it on Tazaroth.
Yeah, you need it.
Just in case you should... Okay, so Tazaroth, can you also add 3 gold and 3 silver to your character sheet for me?
Sure.
Okay, so in addition, there are some other things inside of the chest. There are books that have pages made from Trillimac caps. They contain the mad scribblings of Narak and his fellow Darrow savants. If a character wants to, who has an Arcana, Investigation, or Religion, you could try to spend about 8 hours pouring through them, mostly because like you don't speak Dwarvish, so like that's kind of going to add some time to it. If you speak Dwarvish, it might not take you as long. And then at the end of the time, you will have a better sense of what it is that these scribblings are about, if anything. And then...
My question for you is, if we're going to spend 8 hours doing that, will this also count as a long rest, or at the very least a short rest?
Well, a short rest is 1 hour, and a long rest is 8 hours, so it would probably count as the latter.
And it was Arcana and what, Alex?
There are 3 options: Arcana, Investigation, or Religion.
Oh, okay. Well, Fixer Upper has Religion and it speaks Dwarvish, so.
Oh, okay, perfect. Then in that case, for the fixer-upper, it takes you, let's say 6 hours instead.
All right.
In addition, tucked into, well, everyone's going to rest now, so let me start by
Okay.
fixing that and making sure that I don't forget. Long rest.
This would be the level up too, I would assume, correct?
The
I'll,
what
I'll
now?
use up the
You
level
said
up.
we were going to level up after this.
Yes. I was getting my groups mixed up. The
That's
other group
fine.
just leveled up, and so I was confused.
I'll heal Ront the rest of the way before we rest also,
Um, oh shit. Kyle's
because I had the lay
superior
on
needs to
hands.
level up. I think I'll just leave that for him. Guys, help me remember next week that Kyle needs to level up
Okay.
when he's done with all of his gambling. Um, where was I? Oh, right. So you're doing that while everyone's leveling up. Now that you've read this book, it seems to outline two rituals, one of which causes a one-headed creature to sprout a second head, and another allows the grafting of a severed head onto a living creature. And so it sounds like a completely insane ritual, because you're not entirely sure why these two things would be detailed to this extent. Um, but there you have it.
Hmm.
And then that said, uh, tucked into the book, you find two additional scrolls. One of which bears a list of 6 stone giant names, including Rehud and Dorgruns, and the other is actually a letter written in broken Dwarvish, which, of course, since you speak, you are able to translate.
Okay.
There it is. Uh, these are going to be added to this. I'm going to put them all on Fixer Upper
Mm-hmm.
because you translated them. And sorry, excuse me. You also find among the remains of that a potion. What does it look like? It looks empty, but it feels like it has some sort of liquid to it. And you ever notice when like you sort of shake a water bottle that the liquid kind of carries some of the momentum and moves your hand around? That's how you know it's full. But it otherwise looks empty. I'm going to assign that to Melrath for the moment, just so I can have everything assigned. I'm making sure that I've given all the treasure that is appropriate here. That is saved for later. Oh, by the way, since we were sitting down for 8 hours to do resting and whatnot, I also wanted to point out that the party happens to have on it a whatchamacallit, the book from Droki, which is also something you can sit down and study if you want to. Shall I
How long would
just?
that take?
Well, it would take the same amount of time. You just give it to another character. So you could give it to like
Okay.
Snake.
All right.
So let me see here. I need to go to here. Whoops, that's not it. Zoom out a little bit after spinning Bob around. Trent's here. Hold on a second. Aha! So Snake spends the same amount of time working through the bizarre book that Droki has, and it takes him less time to make sense of the sort of mad scribbles and arcane formulas. They connect at different points on the page, and it takes a little bit to sort of jigsaw those together. But in the end, it turns out this is Droki's spell book, and it happens to contain 2 spells. one of which is Tensor's Floating Disc, and the other one is Feign Death.
Hi.
Would you like to add those to your spell book?
Yes.
Please do. Um, as I remember it, you don't actually consume the scrolls in this edition when that happens.
Is it a scroll or is it a spell book?
It's a spell book, but you can.
If it's a scroll, you do end up consuming the scroll, but if it's a spell book, you can just copy, you just have to pay.
Okay.
Hmm.
So subtract the appropriate cash. And this is relevant because, if I remember correctly, let me check something. Okay, so it is worth noting that Tensor's Floating Disc is a ritual. And a reminder for all players, rituals are spells that you can cast without the use of components or a spell slot. Well, I'm sorry, technically you're supposed to do it with components, but I always hand wave that part. It takes you 10 minutes to cast it, or I'm sorry, yeah, about 10 minutes to cast it. And when you are done, you get to cast it without using a spell slot. The duration on Tensor's Floating Disc is an hour, and it is a 3-foot diameter, 1-inch thick disc that floats 3 feet above the ground, and it follows the caster, and it can hold up to 500 pounds of weight. If more weight is placed on it, the spell ends, and everything on the disc falls to the ground. It always sustains itself to be within 20 feet of you, and it can move across uneven terrain such as up or down stairs and slopes and the like, but it can't cross an elevation change of 10 feet or more. It also cannot change in size, so even if you guys use like a mushroom to try to get around something, it just won't be able to follow you and it will dispel.
Question, how do I add spells?
Um, go to library, and then along the top there's a whole bunch of like tabs and stuff. Down near in the bottom row there's one that says spells, and if you just click it, it brings it up, and then you can just type tense, and then Tensor's Floating Disc will show up.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right.
Oh, before you go on, is everybody leveled up, or are you still working on it?
Adding spells, and I wanted to get input from the group, so
Oh,
I don't know if other people wanted input from the group on their spells or what, just so we get the right stuff.
right.
That's a good point.
What was the other spell, Alex?
Feign Death.
So the level 2 paladin spell list is anemic. I'm going for Branding Smite for one of them, and I'm not sure what I want for the other one.
Well, do keep in mind, Chris, that generally speaking, paladins tend to mostly be consuming them for their smite effects because it does so much damage. Excuse me. That said, source paladin. Here, I'm gonna look at level 2 myself, and I don't doubt you, but just in case there's something in here. Lesser restoration is decent. Fine Steed is not dreadfully useful. I think Aid is a piece of shit, except that it lasts 8 hours and doesn't have concentration. But still, 5 hit points is pitiful.
Yeah, I'd be much happier if it was like 10.
The only
Or
other thing that you could potentially do is try to take Magic Advantage and use that to your advantage. Magic Weapon. You can also remove poison through protection from poison. It just doesn't just protect, it neutralizes poison that's already present. And then give somebody advantage on saving throws against being poisoned and has resistance to poison damage. And then lastly, Zone of Truth is actually pretty damn handy.
Yeah, I was thinking about.
Okay, so let me see here. So I'm looking at cleric spells for Brett. Let me see the war domain. Magic weapon and spiritual weapon. Oh, wait a minute. These are 3rd level spells.
Yeah, I added Crusader's Mantle and Spirit Guardian.
Oh, yeah. Like 2 of the best spells in the goddamn game.
So, looking through the list, I thought maybe Dispel Magic or Protection from Energy. I don't know. I just what do you usually have people take?
Well, you actually Spirit Guardians is like my number 1 recommendation.
But it's a domain spell, right?
It is a domain spell, so it doesn't count against.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking. I often suggest Mass Healing Word because even though it's a D4, it's really nice to just be able to say like all of my allies just gain hit points.
Oh, I didn't see it was a bonus action. Yeah, I'm gonna take that. That's nice.
Okay.
I'm going to do this since you were
There's something that you
consumed.
might wish to consider, which is that with Revivify, you can use that to return a creature that has died, like actually failed death saving throws, to life if it died within the last minute. But it also means that, like, normally with a cleric, you can kind of change your spell list, like, whenever you want. Every time you rest, you can just change what's in there. But if you rest, that's 8 hours, so the 1 minute requirement for Revivify is gone. So if you are afraid of death against an ally or a player, you can actually take that to prevent it as a prevention method. Speak with Dead is something that's also quite handy. Protection from energy is okay, but you have to touch the creature, and that can be a pain in the ass. Dispel Magic is very, very good.
All right, I'll start with that.
Yeah.
Okay. I figured that would be pretty essential.
Okay.
So I'm assuming Counterspell is a very good spell to pick up.
It is, but just know that generally speaking, with Counterspell, there is, I think, an obvious detraction with it, which is that while it can be very powerful, and the thing that's also really hilarious about Counterspell is that you can actually successfully, at this level, counter 9th level spells with it, like if you just get lucky, which I think is kind of bizarre, but it tends to mean that either you never use your 3rd level slots, or you blow them all and then you kind of can't use it. So like, it's a great spell, but just be aware that it has that drawback that you're always kind of like, well, do I use the slot or not?
Well, I was also thinking between fireballs and Melf's minute meteors.
The meteors,
I like the itty bitty meteors. They're more fun.
are very good. It is concentration though, so be aware of any of the other concentration spells that you have that might make that less useful.
I don't really have any other concentration spells other than Tasha's, which is hilarious. And I'm not sure if I want to take haste or not.
I think Snake will take Fireball because I like Fireball.
Okay. Haste is a profoundly good spell. Yes, it has a disadvantage. That's mostly because it's such a good spell that they had to put something in there. It's the concentration that you really have to worry about. The advantage, of course, is that around the same spell level, Melwrath and Tazrath, I believe, both get access to their 2nd attack per round. And so by picking up haste here, you actually give them 3 attacks per round in addition to
haste. It is.
Yeah.
That means I can't use haste in the minute meteors at the same time, but I can use Scorching Ray while I'm using haste, or vice versa.
Also, if you haste Tazarath, I think it stacks with Boots of Speed. Because Boots of Speed doubles his movement speed, if I remember correctly.
Doubles my walking speed.
Right. And then double your walking speed, and then applying haste after that would double it again. So you would go.
Do you get spells, Eric?
60 to 100.
Not for a little bit long.
Okay.
I thought you did from being an Eldritch Knight, but I don't know.
Oh, I got some early, but it's like very slow.
I see.
Yeah. Wait, what? Oh,
I
okay.
got a
No.
tiefling spell and my level 2 spells and one level 1 spell.
Wow. The Xanthar's Guide's options are interesting. You summon demons that are hostile to you and all creatures in combat.
Chaos.
I don't know why that's important. Ooh, major image.
Um,
Anybody else have any questions spell-wise?
do you recommend? We can always use more crowd control, AOE crowd control. So, do you recommend Stinking Cloud?
Good question. Let me look it up.
Or maybe
Yeah,
Erupting Earth?
Stinking Cloud is quite good
Okay.
because it doesn't actually cause the poison status effect, which is less good, but Retching and Reeling is still quite good. And Erupting Earth, ground, earth, 3d12. Ooh. Difficult terrain. Yeah, Erupting Earth is also a decent choice. Hold on a second. That's interesting. Incidentally, one of the spells that I'm quite a fan of is Blink. It's a little unreliable, but it can cause you to just teleport around the battlefield and it has no concentration. Um, and so that's kind of hilarious. Um, Animate Dead is useful. Gaseous Form is profoundly useful. Like level 3 is where you really get access to a whole bunch of good stuff. Um, Hypnotic Pattern is also profoundly good because it affects a 30-foot cube.
Oh, okay. So it's crowd control too.
Yes, and on a failed save, the creature becomes charmed for the duration. While charmed by this spell, the creature is incapacitated and has a speed of 0.
Does that affect allies?
It can. Anything within
Ah,
that 30-foot cube. Um, the spell ends for an affected creature if it takes damage or someone else uses an action to shake it out of its stupor. But at the same time, that cube size is pretty considerable. So if you sneak up on enemies, you can literally cast the hypnotic pattern into the air and catch all of them completely off guard, and then attack them one at a time.
hmm.
I've used that to great effect. Oh, and I'm sorry, truly one of the greatest spells in this list is Slow. Slow is ridiculous, completely ridiculous. And affected target speed is halved. Who cares? It takes -2 penalty to its armor class and dex saving throws. Who gives a fuck? It can't use reactions. Whatever. Um, if a creature attempts to cast a spell with a casting time action of 1, roll a d20. On an 11 or higher, the spell doesn't take effect until the creature's next turn, and it must use its action to complete the spell. If it can't, the spell is wasted.
Hmm.
And so, like, you just,
And it affects 6 creatures, so it's kind of a CC. Okay.
yeah, it is really, really powerful. Like, nobody can catch up to you guys whenever you move.
All right, I'll take that.
Yeah, slow is really, really good.
Cool.
Anybody
Yeah, the
else?
level 3 list is really good. There's so much interesting stuff on there.
Truly, truly is. All right. If everybody has chosen all their levels and level ups, we're actually
Hmm.
exactly at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
So we didn't accomplish quite as much as I'd hoped, but is what it is. Thank you guys for playing. And then next week we'll be on as usual, and hopefully Kyle will be able to make it, and we'll pick up from here.
Okay. Sounds great.